in at this moment because there's something for you here. And as we open the space to acknowledge a new day is dawning. And what are we seeking? Now, we believe in our way of life that that which we are seeking is seeking us, and that we become that. And the more we let go of the energies of the rational mind that tells us why we can't do it, all the odds that are against it, turning on the media and having that compounded, the more we take ourselves out of the law of averages and place ourselves within the law of individual selection, we move beyond that consciousness. A new day is dawning. All the old forms are falling away. And in our own lives, things fall apart so they can fall together at a higher level. Things break down for our breakthrough to come on the other side and to see our lives from a much higher point of view. And you know that when I was 20, I shared with you that I quit school. I was at Pierce Junior College and I wanted to see the world, so I joined the airlines. And it was really interesting to me that when we would get on the plane, and things seem bigger than life when you're there in the middle of them, but the higher the plane arose, and the more that we ascended, things looked very, very small and much more in perspective. I believe that we are going up the spiral, and with each new revolution of change, there's a disorientation, there's kind of a scariness at times because it's the unknown. And we like to cling to the known. Nothing is resisted so much in life as what? Change. And the only permanent thing in life is what? Change. We can depend on it. We can totally depend that things are going to change. That life does not tarry with yesterday. Life is the forward progression of the soul. It is not static. We're either going up the spiral or we are going down the spiral. So when we look, what are we seeking? I believe that we are seeking awareness, which is love, which is the strongest healing power in the universe. Now, Buddha said something wonderful. And he said, in the end, only three things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how graciously you let go of things not meant for you. How much we loved, how gently we lived, and how graciously we let go of things not meant for us. The Upanishads have stated, you are what your deep driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny. That we put the works with the faith, the action with intention. And we many times call ourselves seekers. But once we find, that is the opportunity to go deeper within our own hearts and souls and to make every day a new day. Here's the paints, here's the brushes. You paint paradise and in you go. You paint a life and in you go. And I think it's a great challenge to make every single day new. Because a lot of people get up, oh yeah, another day, another dollar, yeah, same old, same old. How you doing? And then they tell you. You're like, oh gosh. And the truth is, that's a habit pattern. That is a conditioned reflex response. And we make the shift to go higher and to say, I woke up this morning and I took my first conscious breath. Hallelujah, I'm alive. George Burns used to say the first thing he did in the morning when he took that first conscious breath, he opened the paper, he read the obituaries. If he wasn't in it, he started his day. So energetically, we are here, we're alive, we're well. And that we are working on ourselves, our consciousness, and we take the body along. Sometimes the body rebels. And so we bless medical science and naturopaths and all of the healers on the planet that allow us to be all that we can be in spirit, mind, and body, but to acknowledge God is our source of all of it. A new day is dawning. Water seeks its own level, right? Birds of a feather flock together. Consciousness is all. And when we come from that space within ourselves, and we resonate to certain things, we're going to attract those things into our energy field. Now, there was a book written, and my mother used to say it also when I was growing up. We cannot afford the luxury of a negative thought, because that breeds more negativity, and it breeds unhappiness. And Eckhart Tolle said in his book, The Power of Now, that unhappiness spreads faster than disease. Because what happened is taps into the latent negativity within others. So suddenly, you know, we want a sympathetic vibration of negativity. We're going to find it. We're going to tap into others' negativity. But if we are the one that takes a stand in the truth and say, I can't go there. That is not how I live my life. That does not work for me. And when I did it, it never worked for me. I became even more miserable. Now, I had to go to Orange at St. Joseph's Hospital several times in the past couple of weeks. And I took my car into my mechanic. And I have a 1987 car. And I love my car, it's a classic, but you know I need new fuel injectors, and so I just always, whenever I have a trip, I take it into him. He checks everything out, and then he gives me the okay. So we were in a discussion, and he said, did I ever tell you I had cancer? And I said, no, you didn't. And he proceeded to tell me that when he had chemotherapy, he would not allow himself to think about the chemotherapy. He would come in to Bavarian Auto. I'm going to give him a little perk here because I think he's the greatest. And he would work on the cars. And what is so interesting about that, he said it brought him into that moment, not thinking about future time, because there's nothing we can do about future time. There's nothing, that's unborn. There's nothing we can do about the past. That's what is. This is the moment that we live and move and have our being in the one. And I just gave him the biggest hug, and I said, I think God saved you for me. I'm just that selfish. I love you. I acknowledge you. I am so grateful for you. And that you arose, and that you didn't only survive, you thrive. He's got more business than he knows what to do with. And every time I take the car, and he does these little things, and he puts the fluids in, and I say, what do I owe you? He goes, oh no, you get on the road. It's a gift. And to have that kind of energy, when certainly we know the other, and that certain professions, especially with women, that we know not too much about cars, except, for some of us, and to have an honest mechanic that cares about what he does, and that even through cancer, he allowed himself to live in the now, and to be there totally present. And when we're totally engaged in the present moment, we can't think about the past, or the unborn time. We can only live this moment in time. Deepak Chopra said that he interviewed the past founder of the Sony Corporation, who made $750 billion. I mean, it's just amazing. I guess it's just a bunch of zeros, right? $750 billion. And he said to him, did you go to Harvard Business School and get your MBA? He goes, oh no, I never got a degree. I just would go over the deal, I would swallow, and if it gave me indigestion, I wouldn't go for it. He operated from his heart. And Deepak said, isn't it interesting? Some people say, well, you can't trust the heart. That's, sentimental. No, the heart is wisdom. The heart is the doorway to the soul. And that when we make the longest journey on the planet, the 18-inch journey from the head to the heart, realizing that there is a connection here, and that if we can't feel it, we can't heal it. And that we open the space to allow God to do what God does best. That's being in the world, totally and completely putting our life, our energy, our aliveness, who we are, in the circle of life, realizing that all sorts of things are going to come up for us. And it's about how do we handle it this moment. And when we can bless the energy of what is, we open the space for the miracle. We open the space for the healing. We open the space for the relationships. We open the space for the finances. We open the space for the community. when we allow ourselves to accept what is. I believe that life is miraculous. And those moments that I'm feeling a lower energy, I just lay down and I meditate. I have a slant board, and I just get on that slant board, even though it's padded now, and I just feel the energies of the universe flowing through me. And that when gravity starts to pull us down, get the legs up and get on a slant board or something, or jump in the pool and allow the energies to begin to flow, because this physical organism needs to be maintained and tuned. And we forget that because we're so after that carrot out there. But we are the carrot. The carrot is within us. And energetically, be still and know that I am God, Psalm 46:10. Be still is the key. Shut up long enough to allow the voice of God to come through, to know that you are loved, that you are accepted, that there's never been one exactly like you, that you are unique in all the world. That someone said if God had a refrigerator, it'd have your photograph there on it, right? So as we let go and realize that which we are seeking is seeking us, and it is us. And I absolutely love the energy of that. And, you know, it's interesting. Carl Jung wrote a book, and he said he interviewed a chief. And the chief said that the white man has a scowl on his face and doesn't seem very happy. And as Jung talked about that energetically, is the white man always looking out here? I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when this happens, when that happens. But to realize this is the moment that we can do something about, that we can live this moment, that we can address and engage our presence in this opportunity that's presented itself. And sometimes, you know, it's not fun. But the truth is we're going to grow and unfold past that fear. Remember, fear is false evidence appearing real. And when we embrace our fear, it dissolves and returns to its native nothingness from whence it came. Because the truth is, it is neither person, place, nor thing. It is only the life and the energy that has been given unto it. In the way of Pooh, he said to Piglet, what day is it? And he says, it's today, my favorite day. My favorite. Every day is our favorite. Every opportunity that we have to be in the world, to live, to love, to laugh, to weep, to be all that we can be, is an opportunity to grow and unfold. And sometimes there just are no words. I remember reading in Rabbi Kushner's book, Why Bad Things Happen to Good People. And he was saying that there was a widow, and she was unconsolable, and they had everybody talking to her. The rabbi talked to her, the psychologist talked to her, the friends talked to her. And then the former owner of Mattel Toys came in, and he was on a cane, and he'd had surgery, and he was quite elderly, and it took him a long time to get down the aisle. As he hobbled down the aisle, and he sat next to her, he put his arm around her, and he wept. He didn't try to console her. He didn't have words of wisdom. He wept. And she said out of that she was healed. That no words really needed to be said. That the tears, his tears washed away all the grief and the sorrow that was within her. And there was an understanding that another human being understood her moment of grief. And what we know is that there are 4 stages of grief. There's absolute disbelief, where you don't believe it. There's the anger that it happened. There's the healing that begins to transpire, and the total recovery, where we begin to really cease to weep that it's over and begin to rejoice that it happened. And when we rejoice that it happened, we create so many wonderful memories. My daughter and I would have, she was 7 when her father passed away, and we would have missing daddy sessions. And we'd talk about all the great things, the funny things. We would laugh, we would cry, and then we'd get up and start our day, or move back into our day, or whatever it took. Because the human heart, that energy within us that does feel, And I think it's wonderful that we feel. I love Star Trek where, you know, Captain Kirk, he would wring his hands and he would try to get the, you know, all of the dangerous energies that were out there, and he'd bring the Enterprise in one more time. And, of course, what was it, Mr. Spock would say? Oh, yes, indubitably, indubitably, because he wouldn't buy into the human emotion of it. But the human emotion is also good for us to release, to let go, and to let God do what God does best by means of each and every one of us. I would not be in any other way of life. I do not buy into the age thing. I'm feeling divine at 69. I had major surgery in April, and everyone praying for me, and I even shared it on Facebook that, you know, thank you for your prayers. And I just acknowledge that we're all subject to the human condition, because people have a tendency to put ministers and, you know, public speakers and people who are out there on pedestals. We have our own human conditions, our own foibles, our own feet of clay, our own things to work through. And when we come out on the other side of it, we say, thank you for the prayers. Thank you that I am perfect, complete, and whole, and that you knew that and held that space. We have the most powerful ministry of prayer on the planet that are totally clear channels to know the truth for us. It is such a wonderful service to be in community and know that we have these ministers that speak their word into the law of mind, and that the universe answers in full-blown expression of our demonstration of health, vitality, aliveness, prosperity, all of the wonderful things in relationship that occur because we are turning it over and surrendering. It takes a powerful person to surrender. Surrendering is not weakness. It's power, it's energy, and it's aliveness. So I say, what are you seeking? That which we are seeking is seeking us and is us. That water seeks its own level, birds of a feather flock together in resonance. And what we resonate to comes into our lives in full-blown expression. And ours is the privilege to give birth to a higher idea, to be totally and completely who we are. So today, I greet you, not quite as the world greets you, but with profound esteem and the knowingness of our oneness and the recognition that we are going where? Higher yet. Where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. And so it is. God bless you, and I love you all.